Hello data nerds, what's up? Welcome back to the third session of SQL series. Let me give you a quick recap on what we did in the session 1 and session 2. So session 1 was mainly about the theoretical topics that we covered about databases and primary key and foreign key and data types and things like that. In session 2, we covered important SQL commands like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, right? And as we planned that from this session, we are going to actually understand the tool and we will write few of the queries, right? As I always do, before I jump on using any tool, I give you a quick tour. So that is what I'm going to do here as well. I'm going to give you a quick tour on MySQL Workbench, which is going to be our tool for writing queries, okay? There are plenty of tools available to write queries, but I'm going to use MySQL. So first thing, you have to install that in your computer. I'm not going to cover the part where I show you how to download this MySQL in your system because I think there are multiple videos available on YouTube already. A lot of people have created videos on this topic and they will show you, they will guide you how to download this thing into system. If you just write this installing SQL Workbench on your YouTube, you can get a lot of videos. You have a video from Amit Things. He tells you how to install with MySQL. As you scroll down, you get a lot of videos on the guidance of how to install this SQL Workbench in your system. And that is why I've skipped this part. I'm directly jumping on giving you a tool. So let's get the tool. So this is how your SQL Workbench UI looks when you open this for the first time. You see this big space in the middle? This is the space where you're going to write your queries. Then you see a few buttons above the space. I'm going to explain you a few of them now and we'll explore these buttons as we move ahead with the sessions, okay? So the first button is nothing but open a script file in the editor. If you have written any script and you have saved in your computer and you want to use that here right now, so you can just click on this and it will take you to the file where you have saved, okay? Not a big deal. Second is save the script to a file. Doesn't need an explanation. Third symbol is very important, this lightning symbol. If you hover on that, it says execute the selected portion of the script or everything if there's no selection, right? What it means that if you have written script and you want to execute it, then this is your button, okay? Also, if you have written a lot of scripts and you do not want all the parts to be executed, you just want a specific part, right? Then you're going to select that specific part and you're going to click on this. So this is how it works. Let me show you quickly what am I talking about. I have a table called cricket match. You don't need to worry about the query right now. I'm going to explain you each and everything. I just want to show you this lightning button. So I selected my query and I'm going to click on this. Bingo. You get the result from this cricket match. Whatever rows and columns you have from this table, you get it here. So I think this portion might be clear by now as it's showing the result. It's nothing but result grid, right? That's why it's called the result grid. It shows you whatever you execute here. No brainer. The below portion that you see on your screen is action output. Yeah, it shows everything about your output. So let's start from here. It shows this symbol which tells that your query ran successfully. There was no error. It didn't fail. Okay. Then comes action 1. It shows that this is your first query that you have run. Then comes time. It shows you the timing at which you have run this query. And under action, it exactly shows the query that you have written here. And that's what you see is under action, right? Under message, it tells you how many rows your query has returned. In my case, it has returned 123 rows and that's what it shows, okay? Here it shows what was the second, what was the timing, what was the duration this query took to execute. So we're done with this middle portion. We are done with the result grid. We are also done with this action output, okay? Now let's move towards the left part of the UI. Here, as it says, it is nothing but navigator. This left part is divided into two parts, administration and schemas, right? Currently, I have clicked on administration. That's why you see these options. No need to worry about that. These options are generally used in the advanced database management. And since we are beginners, we are learning just to write queries, we are not going to use these options quite frequently. What are we going to use? We are more interested in this option called schemas. As I click there, I get these two. Currently, I have these two schemas. So if I click on this little drop down, you'll see the tables inside us. It says tables. So I have these tables available. If you remember this, I ran this query using this table. I was able to run this query because I already have this table created in my schema and that's why it ran successfully. Below to the tables, you have views, stored procedures, functions. You'll understand all these options as we move forward. Okay, currently no need to worry about that. So let's close it and come to this leftmost below part of this UI. So you see, it says information. So whatever schema you have selected, Currently, we have selected awesome chocolates. That's why it shows information about the selected schema, right? It shows awesome chocolates. This awesome chocolate is nothing but the object info, right? The schema is the object and it's showing the information about that object. If I click on this session, it will tell me about the session details. So what is the name of the session, the host, the port, everything. So this was this left part. Now let's jump to the right side. You see these three symbols, it shows what kind of view do you want to see. If you click on this, then the left part is gone, right? If you click on this, the below part is gone. If you click on this right symbol, the right part is gone. Now, if you want the left portion to be there in the UI, you just click on that and you'll be able to see this. If you want the below portion to be available, this is the click and then right click. So now you have everything available on your screen. And this is how you want your screen to look like. Everything available so you can use whatever you want, okay? Then comes these options, right? So if I just hover on the first, it says create a new SQL tag for executing queries. Currently, I have one query editor open. Do not worry about the query right now, okay? Currently, I have one query editor open which says SQL file 1. What if I want to write a new code in a new query editor? What are you supposed to do? You're just going to click on this and this will open a new query editor for you, right? So you got a new space, absolutely blank, nothing written on it, and you can write a fresh query. Then comes the second option. This is nothing but open a SQL script. If you have saved any SQL script in your laptop and you want to open it now, this is your button. If I just click on that, it takes me to a script which I have previously saved in my computer. If I click on that, I click on open. This was the query which I have saved earlier, right? It opened. So these are the two buttons that we are going to use quite frequently and you're supposed to know about that. The above options are for you to explore. If you click on file, you get all these. Just read it, understand it. It's no brainer. You can just read and understand what it's doing, right? So now since we are familiar with the tool we are going to use, I think we should write some query. So first thing that you're supposed to do is create a database. If you have a database or schema, inside that you're going to store your tables, right? So we are going to create our first database. So let's create that. So I'm going to write create database. So this will command my tool that you are supposed to create a database. Now, before I actually give command to MySQL that create the database, I also want to run a quick check. I want MySQL to check that whether the database that I'm going to create, do we have another database existing with the same name, right? So I'm just going to write if not exists, and then I'm going to give the name of my database, which is going to be sales. Okay, so let's understand this query part by part. This create database is nothing but it gives command to MySQL that I'm asking you to create a database. Then this part, if not exists, it asks SQL to check that whether there is a database called sales already existing. If there, then let me know. If not, then create it. And this is going to be the name of my database, which is sales. Now, one important thing, you have two queries written here. Select everything from cricket match and create database. Currently, we do not want to see the result from this query. We just want to see the database that we have created. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to select this query and click on execute. And it says that it ran successfully. So our database is created. But the question is, where is the database? How do I see that? Currently, I just see awesome chocolates and SYS. I'm not able to see. For that, you see this small refresh button here. Just click on that. And bingo, you can actually see sales, right? Your new sales database is created. If you just click on the drop down, you have all these things available. But if you click, nothing happens because you have not added anything here. You could have also written create schema, if not exists, sales. So the logic is same. You're just changing from database to schema. That's it, right? Now, one thing to notice, since we have selected sales, the information about schema is showing that we have selected sales, right? If we select awesome chocolates, it shows that you have selected schema for awesome chocolates, right? Another thing to notice, as you select your schema and you come right, you see this I button. This button is going to be super helpful as you move ahead. If you click on that, it gives you a lot of information about your schema. Okay, let's go one by one. So first of all, info, it says schema details, and then you have this default characters, table count is 0 because we have not created any tables, and that is why database size is also 00 bytes, right? If you come to tables, we do not have any tables created, and then it gives you information about the columns. Since we do not have any columns, nothing is visible here. Indexes, triggers, views, store procedures, function, grants. This is going to be super useful and you'll understand the importance of this as we move ahead. I just wanted to educate you about this button because this gives you a lot of information about your schema. So when you are exploring on your own, try to click all the buttons and try to explore. And once you are done exploring, you can just close this and you'll be back to your query editor. So this was a quick tour about MySQL Workbench, the same tool that we are going to use in all of the upcoming SQL sessions. We are going to write queries on that. So I just want you to download it, watch any video on YouTube. It will just take 5 to 10 minutes to install it in your system, and take a tour, watch this video, understand the buttons, what is where, which is going to help you when you start writing queries. Big day, right? You just created your first database. From next session, we are going to create a lot of tables, we are going to insert a lot of values in that, and we are going to play around with the database that we are going to build. Till then, study hard, explore more, and meet me in the next session. Bye bye.